The tranquility of a summer night in Birmingham was abruptly severed by the staccato burst of gunfire. A community figure, a father and a mentor, lay bleeding by the threshold of his mother's home. This was Anthony Sargent, affectionately known as the King of Lee Bank. His life was not claimed by random chance, but by a deliberate and cold-blooded act, a drive-by shooting executed with chilling precision. In the aftermath of this heinous crime, the perpetrators reveled in their perceived triumph, their laughter echoing the belief that they had committed the perfect crime. Yet beneath this facade of victory lay questions that demanded answers. What precipitated this ruthless killing? Who orchestrated this lethal plot? And against the odds, how did the tenacious detectives meticulously piece together the evidence to bring justice to Anthony's memory? Anthony Sargent was more than a name in the bustling city of Birmingham. He was a beacon of hope and respect, not through coercion, but through the genuine impact of his actions. As the King of Lee Bank, he was a father to 8, a mentor, and a man resolute in his mission to uplift those around him. Having grown up amidst the shadows of violence and crime, Anthony was intimately familiar with the challenges faced by the youth of his community. Yet, rather than turning away, he embraced the opportunity to effect change. He founded Rickman Rovers, a local football team that transcended the boundaries of sport, becoming a sanctuary for young minds. It was here that discipline, teamwork, and responsibility were instilled, and Anthony was more than just a coach. He was a guiding light. His influence resonated far beyond the confines of the football pitch. Parents entrusted him with their children, the community held him in high esteem, and young boys who might have otherwise succumbed to the allure of crime found a beacon of hope in his leadership. However, the undercurrents of past affiliations and simmering rivalries lurked beneath the surface. These tensions, long dormant, would erupt into a storm of violence. On a fateful night in August of 2018, the promise of Anthony's legacy was overshadowed by the ominous crack of gunfire. It was August 25th, a warm night in Birmingham, and Anthony Sargent found himself standing outside his mother's home on Rickman Drive, Lee Bank, a place of comfort and safety, steeped in memories of family and friendship. Unbeknownst to him, danger lay in wait. A stolen BMW prowled the neighborhood, its occupants cloaked in the shroud of night. Inside, men sat poised, their hands clutching weapons, their eyes fixed on their target. In those fleeting moments, the world that Anthony had tirelessly worked to build was shattered, but the echoes of his impact lingered, leaving behind a community grappling with loss and a relentless pursuit of justice. In the end, Anthony Sargent's life serves as a poignant reminder of the enduring struggle between good intentions and the shadows of the past. It is a testament to the resilience of a community seeking answers and the relentless pursuit of justice in the face of adversity. The story of Anthony Sargent is not merely one of tragedy, but of the unyielding spirit of a man who dared to make a difference and the enduring hope that arises from his legacy. Reveal the path of the assailants. The vehicle, a ghost in the night, had been abandoned in a desolate industrial area, stripped of any identifying features. Yet even in its state of dereliction, it whispered secrets to the investigators. The forensic team dusted for fingerprints, meticulously collecting any trace of the individuals who had planned and executed this heinous act. As the investigation unfolded, the community held its breath, each day a reminder of the fragility of life and the stark reality of violence that could erupt without warning. Anthony Sargent was not merely another statistic. He was a beacon of hope for many. His work with youth in Birmingham had been an attempt to break the cycle of violence, to offer an alternative path to those teetering on the edge of crime. The police delved into Anthony's past, his connections, and his last days, searching for any hint of motive or conflict that might have led to such a brutal end. Interviews with friends and family painted a portrait of a man dedicated to his community, a man with a vision of peace and progress. Yet there were shadows, whispers of old rivalries and unresolved tensions that simmered beneath the surface. Melon Vehicles. A network of informants was cultivated, each piece of information carefully weighed and considered. The investigation required patience and precision, a relentless pursuit of justice that demanded every ounce of dedication from the officers involved. As days turned to weeks, the relentless march of time added pressure to the case. The community's grief transformed into a quiet determination, a refusal to let fear dictate their lives. Anthony's legacy became a rallying cry, a unifying force that galvanized those he had once inspired. Finally, a breakthrough came. A fingerprint, overlooked in the initial sweep, matched a known associate of a local gang. The suspect was apprehended, his alibi unraveling under the weight of evidence and witness testimonies. The arrest marked a turning point, a glimmer of hope in a case that had seemed insurmountable. The ensuing trial was a spectacle of justice, a testament to the tireless efforts of law enforcement and the resilience of a community unwilling to be silenced by violence. As the gavel fell, the verdict reverberated through Birmingham, a moment of closure for those who had lost so much. In the wake of the trial, Anthony's story became a catalyst for change. His life, though cut short, ignited a movement aimed at breaking the cycle of crime and violence. Community leaders, inspired by his vision, redoubled their efforts to support at-risk youth, to create opportunities where once there were only dead ends. The legacy of Anthony Sargent endures, a reminder that even in the face of darkness, the light of hope can prevail. His story is a testament to the power of community, the importance of justice, and the enduring impact of a single life dedicated to the betterment of others. In the end, it is this legacy of hope and resilience that stands as the true measure of his life. The scene of the crime, weaving an unbreakable narrative of their guilt. As the investigation unfolded, the enormity of the task that lay before law enforcement became apparent. This was not merely about solving a murder, it was about dismantling a network of criminality that had entrenched itself into the very fabric of the community. The investigation had begun in the shadow of violence, a brazen act that left a community in mourning and a family shattered. But beneath the surface of grief and anger, a meticulous plan was being crafted. The detectives knew that their pursuit of justice required not only precision but also patience. Each step was taken with care, every decision weighed with the gravity of its potential impact. The community, though fearful, began to see the resolve of the police as a beacon of hope. Quiet whispers in local meeting spots started to shift from despair to cautious optimism. The police, in turn, worked diligently to protect their sources, ensuring that those brave enough to come forward would not face retribution. This symbiotic relationship between law enforcement and the community was crucial. It was the foundation upon which the case was built. As the months passed, the narrative of the crime became clearer. The Goodwin brothers, Anderson and Riley, were not mere foot soldiers in this criminal enterprise. They were architects of chaos, orchestrators of an event that was intended to instill fear and maintain control. Yet in their arrogance, they underestimated the tenacity of those who sought to bring them to justice. The raid in Derbyshire marked a turning point. The discovery of the murder weapon was not just a stroke of luck, but the result of tireless effort and unyielding determination. It was the missing piece that transformed a complex investigation into a solid case ready for prosecution. The weapon's recovery was a testament to the power of persistence, a reminder that even the most carefully concealed secrets can be unearthed. As the arrests were made, this calculated to minimize risk and maximize impact. The suspects, once confident in their evasion, found themselves ensnared in a web of their own making. The evidence was irrefutable. The walls they had built to protect themselves came crashing down, laid bare for all to see. The prosecution presented a case that was as compelling as it was comprehensive. Witnesses recounted the events of that fateful day, their testimonies painting a vivid picture of the crime. The defendants, stripped of their bravado, could do little but listen as the evidence of their guilt was meticulously detailed. In the end, the verdict was a resounding affirmation of the police's efforts. Justice was served not only for the family of Anthony Sargent, but for a community that had been held hostage by fear. The case stood as a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of community cooperation. In the quiet aftermath, as the echoes of the courtroom faded, a sense of peace began to settle over the city. The specter of violence had been confronted and vanquished, leaving in its wake a profound realization that even in the darkest of times, the light of justice can prevail, illuminating a path forward In the heart of Birmingham, a city marred by the shadows of violence, the murder of Anthony Sargent, his life was cut short in a moment of senseless brutality. Yet, from the darkest corners of despair, a narrative of justice began to unfold, a story meticulously pieced together through the lenses of forensic analysis and digital footprints. The investigation into Anthony Sargent's murder was nothing short of a modern-day detective saga. Key locations became pivotal points on a map of intrigue, each one connected by the invisible threads of data. Forensic experts meticulously examined the deadly weapon, linking it irrevocably to the crime. Meanwhile, mobile phone records painted a vivid picture of movements before and after the fateful event, tracing a path that left no room for denial. As the evidence mounted, it became clear that the pieces fit together with a precision that could not be ignored. The narrative constructed by the investigators was unassailable, a testament to the meticulous nature of their work. Prosecutors, armed with an airtight case, moved forward with unwavering resolve. The men implicated, Michael Goodwin, Connor Goodwin, Keenan Anderson, and Leon Riley, were formally charged with the murder of Anthony Sargent. Their crimes extended beyond the taking of a life. They included firearm offenses that underscored a chilling disregard for law and life. Birmingham, a city now gripped by fear and mourning, watched as the wheels of justice began to turn. The courtroom became a crucible, a place where truth would emerge from the heat of scrutiny and deliberation. The prosecution presented its case with unwavering precision. CCTV footage captured the stolen getaway car in damning detail. Mobile phone logs provided a digital trail that was as telling as it was condemning, and the murder weapon, a grim artifact of violence, was scientifically proven to have discharged the fatal shot. Witnesses, some stepping forward with trepidation, others silenced by fear, played their roles in this unfolding drama. Their testimonies added human voices to the cold, hard evidence. The prosecution argued with conviction that this was no arbitrary act of violence. It was a calculated, premeditated attack, executed with chilling clarity of intent. Throughout the trial, the defendants clung to their denials, attempting to deflect blame and sow doubt. Yet their efforts were in vain. The jury, tasked with the weighty responsibility of discernment, saw through the facade. After a thorough examination of the evidence, they rendered their verdict guilty. In March of 2023, the scales of justice struck with finality. Michael and Connor Goodwin were sentenced to life imprisonment, with a minimum term of 32 years before parole could be contemplated. Anderson and Riley faced similar fates with minimum sentences of 28 years. The severity of their sentences mirrored the brutality of their actions and the profound grief inflicted upon Anthony Sargent's family. As the verdict echoed through the courtroom, emotions surged. For Anthony's loved ones, no sentence could resurrect the man they cherished, yet there was solace in knowing that those responsible for his death would never again walk free. His children, who had lost a father, found a measure of closure in the assurance that justice had been served. Beyond the courtroom, the impact of Anthony Sargent devoted his life to steering young lives away from the path of violence. His family, left to navigate a world without him, spoke of their enduring heartache. Anthony's mother, who had watched her son slip away in a hospital room, articulated the profound sense of loss that would forever mark their lives. In the aftermath of this tragedy, Birmingham was reminded of the fragility of peace and the relentless pursuit of justice. The story of Anthony Sargent's life and death became a poignant reminder of the enduring struggle between darkness and light, and the unyielding human quest for justice and redemption. In the heart of Birmingham, a community grapples with the echoes of a life forever altered by the loss of a father's love and guidance. The conviction for Anthony's murder brought a semblance of justice, yet the irreversion of the relentless grip of gun violence that infiltrates even the lives of those striving to forge a path of positivity and change. Anthony's murder serves as a poignant reminder that the specter of street crime spares no one, indiscriminately claiming lives and leaving devastation in its wake. In response, the West Midlands Police intensified their resolve, launching initiatives to curb the pervasive threat of gun-related violence. They implored the community to shatter the wall of silence, urging individuals to step forward with information that could avert further tragedies. The murder of Anthony, a dedicated sergeant, was not merely a personal loss for his family, but a profound blow to the entire community he served. He embodied the spirit of change, yet was ensnared by the very violence he sought to eradicate. His assailants believed they could elude justice, but the relentless pursuit of truth prevailed. This case transcends a mere legal victory. It stands as a clarion call to awaken us all. How many more lives must be sacrificed before the vicious cycle of violence is dismantled? Anthony's story compels us to action, urging us to safeguard future generations from a similar fate. His enduring legacy resonates through those he inspired and mentored. Let his name be etched not in sorrow, but as a beacon of the transformation he so fervently championed. In contemplating his journey, we are reminded that the power to change lies within us all, urging us to rise above the darkness and strive for a brighter, safer tomorrow.